This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping the foot on the what? On the next. We keeping the foot on the what? On the next. And like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am. No. Let's rewind that. Like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am. I'm applying what? Unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts pipes. Now let's get on to the video. Marsellos Wilder. Marsellos Wilder. Deontay Wilder's brother. Gotta give him credit. He called a spade a spade. He kept that thing real. He called it 100. And he kept it a buck. The truth of the fact of the matter is, he rolled Tyson Fury's rabbit ass out in the red carpet. Let me say it again. He rolled Tyson Fury's rabbit ass onto the red carpet. Tyson Fury's a cheater, man. Once a glove gate, always a glove gate. But he gave a warning, a strict warning. You know, anytime somebody mentions their parents, when they say my father, my mother, but in this case, he said my father told me, my father taught us. Whew. Listen, y'all. He knows the sport about to say the most visceral form and the most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-telling fashion. Guess what, y'all? Deontay Wilder warned you guys. He said he was going to catch a body. I already see it, dog. December 19th. I'm sorry to say that. R.I.P. Tyson Fury. Let me say it again. Deontay Wilder said he was going to catch a body. I'm sorry to say this, Tyson Fury. December 19th, R.I.P. Because you don't put a dent on the side of this man's head. When he come out, I already know how this fight is going to look like. It's going to look like the second Bermani-Stavern fight. Let me say it again. It's going to look like the second Bermani-Stavern fight. The Bronze Bomber is going to be activated. This man is going to be like a young man possessed with nothing held back. But in this case, admirable and dangerous. Let me say it again. He's going to be like a young man possessed with nothing held back. But in this case, admirable and dangerous. That's what's going to happen come December 19th. I feel sorry for the likes of a Tyson Fury. And for all of you Bomb Squad folks that's waning in your confidence, don't wane, y'all. Because I'm starting to feel that energy. I'm starting to feel that vibe in the air. And there's some of us that's still holding court and holding serve on what's going on. But I see it in the comment section. You know, we have to face the fact, man. You know, Deontay Wilder, he loves, man. You know, we have to face, ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. You got to sound like that. You know, we have to face the fact, man, that Deontay Wilder, he's not what he says he is. Let's see. Spiked water jug is not what he says he is. Let's see. Loaded metal gloves. He's not what he's supposed to be. Just like Marsellos Wilder indicated, just like the doctor, because the reason why what Marsellos Wilder was so impactful in what he said is because he brought up what a doctor said that examined the fact that this man has a indentation in his damn head, on the side of his head. Do you guys understand that he forever has that dent? Unless he does surgery to get the dent to pop out, unless they put something in there, because he no longer is going to be the same in that area. This is what Tyson Fury did. This is what cheating did. Because you can't find in any boxing fight. Y'all find it. Tell me if there's a boxing fight that you could name. Go through the encyclopedia. Go watch fights on top of fights. Go do film studies. I don't care if you put the hardest puncher in boxing. We have not seen anyone hit somebody flush and create a dent. You know why? Because a fighter's fist is not meant to do that to a human skull. Let me say it again. A fighter's fist is not meant to do that to a human skull unless you're fighting Goku, unless you're fighting Saitama, unless you're fighting Superman, or unless you're fighting Hulk Smash. Let me say it again. Unless you're fighting Goku, unless you're fighting Saitama, unless you're fighting Superman, or unless you're fighting Hulk Smash. Last time I checked, these are comic book characters. These are anime characters. They are not real. They are fiction characters. So from my understanding, it would take a fiction character to do something like that in reality. And since that doesn't exist, that tells us overwhelmingly that Tyson Fury had to do something to cause that to happen. How does a pillow-fisted guy, a guy who has no power, where's the indentation or the dent in Otto Wallin's head? He fought him. Where's the indentation or the dent in Tom Schwartz's head? Didn't he knock him out? There should have been evidence that Tyson Fury was able to do this through his fists. How come those guys at the end of the fight just had nothing but little smarks? Where was the indentation? Where was the dent? See, this is what classic Dolce & Troglodyte, Rudy Poo and Pump Break, ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric don't want to see. Either they don't want to see it or they don't want to believe it. Let me say it again. Either they don't want to see it or they don't want to believe it. See, he knows the sport is always stating the most obvious. Remember, I have leagues and droves of this common sense, man. Let me say it again. He knows the sport is always stating the obvious because I have leagues and droves of this common sense. And my common sense, like Spider-Man, the Spidey senses are tingling. And what it's telling me is that Tyson Fury cheated all throughout the whole iteration of the damn fight. Why did they turn off the view cam for 30 plus minutes? What fight have you ever seen something like that happen, folks? Why aren't you guys asking these underlying questions? Why aren't you guys asking these hard questions? But no, we're going to sound like ultra fanboys. Not me, you. Let me say it again. We're going to sound like ultra fanboys. Not me, you. We have to face the fact that Deontay Wilder, he really lost the fight, man. And Deontay Wilder, he didn't do what he was supposed to. If you were Deontay Wilder and someone spiked your water jug, would you be in Bronze Bomber activation variation? If you were fighting a guy that had a loaded metal gloves, this reminds me so much of the Miguel Cotto versus the Antonio Margarito fight. But everyone clowned Miguel Cotto. Oh, Miguel Cotto, he's just crying like a fucking bitch. Miguel Cotto's just running his damn mouth. They were laughing at him. And then when it came to find out that Margarito actually cheated, then the likes of a Shane Mosley was like, heck, fuck no, you ain't gonna do this shit to me. You ain't gonna run that bullshit over here. Let me say it again. You ain't gonna run that bullshit over here. But when Miguel Cotto was saying that, and Miguel Cotto's been known as a fighter who doesn't complain. This is what catches me. Deontay Wilder also is known as a fighter that doesn't complain. So is it about, let's just keep it boxing, let's keep it boxing, let's keep it boxing, let's keep it boxing? Or is it really about the fact that it's not about boxing with these reverse bias, aka detractors, aka panders? Because this is what we have to roll out on the red carpet here. Because if it's not about boxing, then what the hell is it about? They just hate Deontay Wilder. Because Deontay Wilder's a fighter. He's a boxer. This is not pampering Deontay Wilder. It's stating the cold-hearted, the unadulterated, and the cutthroat truth-teller fashion. How does a pillow-fisted puncher? I'm stating the most obvious here, folks. Even the most ardent hater of Deontay Wilder could see the common sense aspect of what He Knows His Sport is saying. Even the biggest critic of He Knows His Sport always see the validity in what He Knows His Sport is saying. You know why? Because I line myself up under the truth, dog. I'm the ultimate truth teller. And no matter how much you hate, love, or is indifferent by what He Knows His Sport is saying via his message, you're going to line your ass up under it, and you're going to have no choice but to say, you know what? I agree with it. Even though I can't stand it, I agree with it. Or you're just going to say you agree with it because it's truth-telling fashion. How does a pillow-fisted puncher have the ability to cause a dent in someone's skull? This is what Marsellos Wilder was alluding to. But you have reverse bias, aka detractors, aka panders, try to clown him. But you can't clown what is real. And what's understood doesn't need to be explained. Let me say it again. You can't clown what's real, and what's understood doesn't need to be explained. But in this instance, it needs to be explained. How does a pillow-fisted puncher, see, I'm saying it for the number 3 of confirmation, has the ability and the power to create dents or indentation on the side of Deontay Wilder's head? That's food for thought. This is what Marsellos Wilder was alluded to, and that's what the doctor confirmed. It wasn't a fist that did that. So if it wasn't a fist that did that, what the heck was in the fist that caused that? What I said was so deep and profound. Let me let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. Hear me and hear me. Wow. If it wasn't the fist that did that, then what the heck was it in the fist that did that? Because we know, we have intel that Tyson Fury is a pillow-fisted puncher. He doesn't knock out people. He does his herky-jerky. That's what he does. So all of a sudden, a herky-jerky, pillow-fisted artist is now all of a sudden a powerful heavyweight that can knock people out. Come on, you brain full of mush and you brainwashed dodo heads. Come on, you classic Dolce and you Togo guys. You Rudy Poo and you Clone Break. You ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. The obvious is stated right in front of you. That fight was a cheat. It was a fix. And once a glove gate, always a glove gate. Let me say it again. It was a cheat. It was a fix. And once a glove gate, always a glove gate. And I'm going to ride a little bit on this one. Marsellos Solomon. Oh, I was there for both fights. I was in the locker room when we got evidence and footage that told us otherwise. How are we going to believe anything that you have to say? Weren't you the same guy that allowed Francis Cruz Desiree to go into a fight against an opponent whose sexual preference is still in question right now? Let me say it again. How did you allow Francis Cruz Desiree to go into a fight against an opponent whose sexual preference is still questionable at this point? So why would we believe anything you have to say? You legalized clenbuterol for Canelo Alvarez. That's how he knocked out Sergey Kovalev. Let me say it again. You legalized clenbuterol for Canelo Alvarez, or i.e. Cinnamon Alvarez, so that he can knock out Sergey Kovalev. So he can have supposed lightweight power or light heavyweight power. And then you promoted Cinnamon Alvarez and Vasily Lomachenko to the WBC franchise belt, i.e. WBC French fry belt, so that they could duck the likes of a Jamal Charlo and a Devin Haney. So why would we believe anything that comes out of your mouth, Marsellos Solomon? See, this is the stuff that we're talking about. Do the evidence and the pedigree behind these people. Frank Warren. Deontay Wilder doesn't have a number for Tyson Fury. Frank Warren, aren't you Tyson Fury's people? Aren't you Tyson Fury's manager? So you already biased. Higgity fucking hush. See, you gotta look at the underlying truths and the undercurrents of what these people are saying. Peel the layers of the onion, and once you find out what this person's affiliation is, or what this person's corruption is all about, then you tell them stop the presses and pump the brakes on the nonsense. Go sit down somewhere and what? Higgity fucking hush. Frank Warren was right there with Bob Arum saying that this is going to be a trilogy before the first punch was through in the first fight. Let me say it again. Frank Warren was right there with Bob Arum saying that this was going to be a trilogy before the first punch was through in the first fight. That tells you everything you need to know. So Marsellos Solomon, you're disqualified. And you know when I get to the finger wagging, higgity fucking hush. Frank Warren, you're disqualified. And you know when I get to that double finger whacking, higgity fucking hush. The bottom line is this. Once a glove gate, always a glove gate. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And you guys need to see the common sense here. So recap once again, because I'm going to let this one stick in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. Once again, hear me and hear me well. Common sense, folks. How does a pillow-fisted puncher all of a sudden have the ability to cause a dent or indentation in someone's side of their cranium? Does that make any sense? And if it doesn't, he knows his sport has done what? Kept the foot on the what? On the X. I kept the foot on the what? On the X. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.